may be deaf, but I'm not that deaf. Now, back at the beginning, the D on God was all over the place. And the opening phrase, let's get that dotted rhythm really clear. Da, 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 da. Oh, be joyful. So let's take the top. Yes? Everybody ready? And 1. Good. What did you have for breakfast, Barrett? Your voice bunged up. Come on! Keep it crisp. All right, we'll try it again tonight. Not bad. Now, the Magnificat, please. Yes, Julie?
Leighton or Dyson?
Dyson. So, what key is this in, please? Ashworth.
D major, sir.
Good. Right, we'll go straight in, shall we? Remember, 1 beat and you're in. Thank you for sharing that with us, Wooldridge. Most harmonious.
Couldn't help it, sir.
The Dean says this will be the most important service in years, so heaven help you if you sneeze then.
And is it, sir? The most important?
No comment. And don't try to be clever, you haven't got the brain for it. So, let's try it again. I don't actually give a tuppenny hoot what Mr. Farrell said, Ashworth. Even song takes precedence. He knows that perfectly well. If he tries it on again, tell him to come and talk to me. He said he was a chorister here, head chorister in 1983. Well, I looked him up, and he was. Headmaster, are you listening?
Sorry.
Now, I know he isn't your responsibility, really, but well, as an old
Tell
boy...
Sandra she'll look after him. At least she'll feed him.
I have. She did. She sent him into breakfast, and he was overjoyed that it was still bacon and tinned tomatoes. Are you all right?
No. But I can't talk about it at the moment, not even to you. Sorry.
Beckford?
What?
It's about Wooldridge. He's in the #1 gym team, and it is imperative...
Not until Friday.
I know you...
We sing Stanford's Magnificat at the rededication service on Thursday. There are 3 treble parts. Wooldridge is the second best treble we have. He can jump about after Thursday.
I hope you realize that you musicians are a total irrelevance in the modern world.
I believe you are Nicholas Elliot. You remember, sir? Well, to be truthful, I don't. Mr. Beckford told me about you. Well, I'm glad it was your instinct to return to Aldminster.
Well, there seemed nowhere else. I can't get a job. I didn't know what to do.
You've spoken to the headmaster? You've been to see him?
Not yet. There seemed to be some sort of problem this morning.
Ah. Well, come and see me. You remember where the deanery is?
Certainly, sir.
Come and have some tea with Mrs. Cavendish and me.
Thank you.
About 4? Benedict!
Let's go, Jay! Mrs. Monk's fed up because the new roughs have got Velcro. She doesn't like Velcro, so she's going to take it off and put buttons on. Sing B flat. Go on. La. Sing B double flat. La. There. I told stupid Barrett you could. Fluke, sir.
Save it for the cross-country, Curtis!
Canon Godwin remembers him. He never used to see his father, and his mother was terribly neurotic. He used to turn up on parents' evenings and cry all over everyone. He's rather a sad case.
I suppose I could give him a bed for a bit.
Oh, don't bother, Mr. Beckford.
Leo.
Leo. Matron's putting him in sick bay for a night or 2. He can do odd jobs for now, and 1 more for meals won't matter.
Sandra?
Yes?
Is Canon Troy all right?
No, but we mustn't interfere.
must fly, my dear. It's the Fishman today. Community shop tomorrow. Nothing on Thursday, of course. Everything's been cancelled for the big day. My dear, I am so proud of him. There are 3 messages on your desk. Chicken soup and sandwiches in the refrigerator, as I have to be at the Clergy Wives at 6:30. When the printers rang, they'll be delivering the special service sheets at 3:30.
Where are you taking that dog?
Upstairs to play on the computer.
Must you?
Oh, it's good for him. He likes the noises.
Huffo.
I cannot bear his whimsical humanizing of animals.
He only does it to provoke you, Huffo.
Don't call me Huffo.
Headmaster, Mrs. Troy rang.
Is she on the phone now?
No. She said to tell you that she was very well, only that she had to be alone for a while.
Sandra, why didn't you fetch me?
Well, Mrs. Troy said not to.
You don't have to do everything you're told. Did she say anything else?
Only that she probably wouldn't stay in London.
In London? Where in London?
She didn't say. She sounded perfectly all right. I mean, she...
Mr. Beckford says we have a homeless old boy in our midst, seeking sanctuary, he thinks.
He's going to tea with the Dean, Headmaster.
Oh, I thought it was our piece of news.
I expect he's only borrowed him. You know how he is.
My dear boy, I'm so glad you've come. Come through to the sitting room. There's someone who wants to meet you. Bishop, this is Nicholas Elliot, who was our head chorister 10 years ago. Bishop Robert.
Oh. Well, I'm so glad you chose to come back.
Yes.
I was in Calcutta 10 years ago while you were singing here. It would have been Bishop Henry in those days, I suppose. Well, what brought you back?
Oh, I ran out of money, actually, and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't think where else. I mean, I wanted to come back here.
We're going to give him tea.
Good. Come and see me. You remember where the palace is?
I wish I hadn't needed to come back. I mean, I wish I could have managed.
Well, when you've got a few weeks to spare, I'll tell you a few things that I can't manage. Now, I really must be getting back to the palace. My poor wife finds it rather difficult to manage, too. No, don't bother, thank you. You stay and look after Nicholas. Goodbye. Now, don't forget.
Diocese give him a chauffeur gardener. He's the use of 2 cleaning women, and his wife insists on doing it all herself. As for the House of Lords, it's completely wasted on him. Ah, how well do you remember the cathedral organ?
Oh, not terribly.
It's the only double-case 17th century organ to have survived in England. We've just finished a huge appeal to restore it. The rededication service is on Thursday. A mighty celebration. I hope you can come.
Yes, thank you.
Well, come along and have some tea.
The organ appeal has dominated our lives for the past 3 years. Sometimes I felt it was the other woman in my husband's life. It's cost vast sums of money.
Bread and butter, Nicholas, and honey.
Thank you.
My father, the Bishop of Bath and Wells, you know, spent an eternity raising money for chancel roofs. So did my grandfather, the Dean of Salisbury. And now, my husband. Dog collars all my life, you see. Do you think I might break out one day?
The bishop has invited Nicholas to see him.
He seems very kind.
Oh, he's a good man. A good man. Perhaps a little modest. For a bishop.
Do hope your parents aren't worrying about you.
I shouldn't think so. My father's in America. He remarried and I don't hear from him very often now.
And your mother?
Actually, I don't get on with my mother.
How very unfortunate.
Hi.
What have you done to your hair?
Ooh, just a little snip.
You look simply disgusting.
Do I?
He had to leave the King's School and move to the local comprehensive. That's where he learns these things.
Why did he have to leave?
Anarchy, barbarism, and lawlessness.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, this will not do. Calm down, if you please. You mustn't behave like hooligans.
That's right, Canon Godwin. Hooligans, the lot of them! You wouldn't think there was a note of music in them. Especially a man of gravitas like Ashworth, who's going to be a full chorister.
Is he indeed?
What, sir?
You don't deserve it. Nor does Chilworth. Go and get measured for surplus tomorrow, will you?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Get robed up for evensong.
I'm sorry. That's right, sir. My old place, sir.
Please, just Leo. Look, I'll just leave you here.
No, that's all right. Not now. I just felt...
You don't have to explain, you know. Did you have tea with the Dean?
Yes. It all got a bit mad.
It's those nightmare children of his. They're a sort of aggressive union, bent on overthrowing all the things he cares about most. It's like watching some terrible blood sport. That's why he loves this place so much. And it can't answer back.
I got a place at Oxford because of my voice. Threw me out after a year. I failed some exam or other. Wasn't really my scene.
Do you miss it?
I'd forgotten about it, really. And then I heard them practicing this morning and I missed it so much I almost fainted. Sorry. But I wished I was back in the choir this morning. I really wished it.
Because it was safe?
Because when you do it, your life is quite taken up by it. And other people think that you're right to do it because of the music. And because it's the only thing I've ever been any good at.
Would you think I was overdoing it if I told you that I believe the choir to be the soul of the cathedral? You ask the boys what they think about music and the cathedral, and God for that matter, and they'll answer, a bit embarrassed, a bit awkward, but what they actually have to say, if you listen, is really quite profound.
I'm going to be a full foundation chorister.
Henry.
Next month, this special service, Miss Chilworth.
But you've only been a probationer for half the time that Chilworth has. Did you have to take the test again?
Oh, thank goodness. One was enough. Do you know what he said? Ashworth, listen here, boy. Sing A flat. Ashworth, sing A double flat. Write down this two-part tune, Ashworth, which I shall only play 3 times.
Mr. Beckford doesn't talk like that.
He did ask me those things.
Bath and bed.
I couldn't sleep. It's far too early.
Well, bed is for rest as well as for sleep.
Can you write and tell Daddy?
I think you should do that. And your grandpa.
Can I?
He's coming over for supper.
Can I phone now?
Certainly.
Ashworth? Good boy. Now you get your jams on. I'll see you in a while. Clever young monkey. Brought you a couple of steaks. Thanks. Well done, kid. Well done. So, what'll they pay you for this honour?
10p an evensong.
Well, that's about £60 over 5 years. How many hours a week?
7 public services and about 18 hours practice. I'll have a rough and surplus.
You'll look a right little ticket, won't you? Hold out your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, perhaps?
Thank you very much. Will you come to my presentation service?
You try and stop me.
You don't mind going to the cathedral?
It's my cathedral too. It's a beautiful place. I got a ticket for the organ rededication service.
You, bed.
Night.
Night, old fella.
Night, Mum.
Night, sweetheart. I'll come and tuck you in. Don't forget your teeth.
Is he really good?
I don't know. I'm not musical enough to know. His choir master seems to think so. Mind you, any grandson of yours should be a genius at battling for things.
You made me sound a load of trouble.
So you are.
That from Alan?
Yes. You can read it if you like.
I wouldn't do that.
Frank, I probably shouldn't be telling you this. He is your son. But I can't help feeling that the arrangement that Alan and I have isn't what marriage is for.
Wouldn't be like you to give up.
I didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't feel that marriage is about living the way we do, quite separately. Do you realise how long he's been in Saudi Arabia?
Oh, it's a good job, Sally.
I'm not talking about his job.
You'd like him to come home?
Not particularly, no.
Is there anything I can do?
Thank you. Thank you, but you can't. I just thought you ought to know my state of mind, that's all.
Hello?
Hello, it's Sally Ashworth here.
Who?
Sally Ashworth, Henry's mother. I'm sorry to call so late.
What? Oh, yes.
I just wanted to talk about Henry.
Yes?
Is he really good, or just a bit better than most?
I should say that his voice is outstanding. It will, of course, ripen in the next 2 years.
You see, I do so want his life to have a chance at the first rate. And if his voice is so good, even if it's only for his boyhood, it will help him escape being mediocre.
Mrs. Ashworth, do you think this is the right moment for this sort of conversation?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Cathedral choristers are professionals, Mrs. Ashworth.
Do you know, Mr. Beckford, that I think I'm making rather a fool of myself. Thank you for talking to me. Good night.
Cosmo's headmaster requests an interview.
We should deal firmly with him.
I have tried to throughout his life.
No, Huffo. With Mr. Miller. Dealt with sensibly, Cosmo's very little problem.
Cosmo is a nightmare of a problem, exacerbated by your idiotic indulgence of him.
Nonsense. I shall go and see Mr. Miller.
I wish to see him myself.
Oh, my dear, you have the chapter meeting. And a big service tomorrow. You haven't a moment.
I wasn't proposing to see Mr. Miller before the service.
Poor dear man. Such a very varied school. No, I'll telephone him the moment I finish my letters.
Oh, please don't. I will speak to him after the chapter meeting. No, wait. I'm seeing the clerk of works afterwards. And then Frank Ashworth's coming to see me.
Frank Ashworth? What does he want?
He wouldn't say. Now, I will make an appointment to see Mr. Miller after that.
Good morning. This is Mrs. Cavendish. I wonder if I might speak to the headmaster, Mr. Miller. Yes, I'll hang on.
Are you pleased? Oh, it's astonishing. The tone's much cleaner and brighter.
Lighting's poor, though, isn't it? One can't see the detail.
Lighting.
Do you know where my draft timetable for tomorrow is? I was working on it when Felicity left. Now, I'm not sure what I did with it. Not sure what I did with anything.
You mustn't take Mrs. Troy's going personally, you know. It's to do with Aldminster and the Close and the church. I'm sure I'd do the same if I was her.
Yeah, I've often felt like running away myself for a while. Oh, thank you. How would Colin feel if you decided to run off like that?
I'm not sure. He's rather conventional in his way.
Ah, well, you must marry him then. You'll make a good husband.
Oh, by the way, second post's here.
I'll look at it later.
There's a card you ought to see.
Don't worry. Can't even read the postmark.
I really must congratulate you on the Hawks Dock development. It's a delight. And when I think of what a desert it used to be, you've done a wonderful job. I mean, cafes and things all along the waterfront.
People seem to like it.
Oh, it was packed when I saw it. Can I offer you a sherry?
Just a tonic water.
And I hope you get full credit for pushing it through.
Thank you. I've come with a proposition, Mr. Cavendish.
Ah.
The people of this city don't have sufficient use of this close.
Oh, it's open to everyone, as is the cathedral.
Oh, they feel the close is not for them. It's too, grand. I'm not suggesting it should necessarily be municipalized.
Relieved to hear it.
But the headmaster's house is big, 14, 15 rooms. And Canon and Mrs. Troy use perhaps 6 rooms at the most.
Oh, no idea how many rooms they use.
I'd like to propose the council buy it and use it as a meeting place. A creche, coffee shop, newspaper library.
Sort of club?
If you like, for the people.
Well, I must consult others, you know, and I hardly feel very sanguine.
Would you put it to the next chapter meeting?
Well, yes, I suppose I must, since you requested.
Thank you.
But why the headmaster's house? There are other buildings in the close.
None so suitable.
I assume your proposal is made with an open and honourable intention. There's no kind of threat involved.
I wouldn't threaten, Mr. Cavendish. I don't need to. Just thought we might do each other a bit of good.
A bit of good?
Well, the house is worth a tidy bit. And you're always short of money around the close.
I don't think that's any concern of yours. Or the council's.
It was only an idea. Think about it. Just an idea.
I think Frank Ashworth is an old-fashioned socialist who really does believe in the essential goodness of mankind.
You don't believe that?
Whether I believe it or not, he is a cunning and effective worker with a long history of success in just this sort of maneuver.
You mean to say that in spite of your declaration, the chapter may still agree to sell the house?
On the contrary, I call to warn you. You see, it's not that the idea of a social centre is wrong, is it? I mean, that's our Achilles heel. It's just disastrously in the wrong place. My dear fellow, I'm so sorry, coming on top of everything else. She will return, you know.
Go away, Ianthe.
Can I come in?
No.
I've got some vodka.
You drink too much. Oh, use the door, will you? 5 minutes.
It's so lovely to see you.
Well, I'm in a horrid mood and I've got 1,000 things to do before tomorrow.
It always comforts me that this house is so revolting that no woman could bear it.
Who'd have me?
Oh, me.
Well, I don't count you.
One day you will.
Listen, I've got a cause for you to put all your excess energy into.
Oh, what?
A waif has turned up in our midst. An ex-chorister, unemployed and homeless. Talk to him. See if there's some way anyone can help him. All right?
Okay.
Time's up.
Oh.
Out. Come on.
Will you kiss me?
No, I've no idea where you've been.
Oh, Leo.
Out you go. Oh. Good night, Ianthe.
I wish Dad was here.
Well, you can write and tell him about it.
Not the same.
I know.
Other people's fathers live at home and go to work here. They sometimes bring them to school and things.
Well, your father thinks he couldn't get as good a job here.
Hooper's father's a pilot, and he comes home.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
I'm proud of you, my dear. A wonderful achievement.
I rather think it is, yes.
I sometimes think our dear Bishop is not quite the man for these occasions.
But no one could fault him on spirituality.
No, of course not. But, style?
I'm not at all sure about such a huge ceremony. Blessing a restored organ.
Only because Hugh asked you to.
For the beauty of holiness, he said. I fear that he and I mean very different things by that. No dean has ever known more about the fabric than Hugh, or loved it more.
But that's his job.
Well, he just sees blocks of stone.
And you don't, darling.
I see the people that put them there.
Here we are. Try it on. And here, old school tie.
Haven't worn one of these for years.
Come along.
Nicholas, take these. Hard-boiled egg, and don't let Canon Patterson have any more than 3.
With Colin's mother. He's a martyr to her migraines. Dominated our lives for years. Oh, he's exhausted.
It's not as if it was a new orphan.
Cost another tuppence on the standard rate of income tax. They can afford it for God's sake.
No, you did really well. Now go and help Mrs. Monk with her fancies.
Sandwich, Leo.
Are they safe? I don't think I will.
Mr. Beckford, I owe you an apology. Mrs. Ashworth.
Ah.
It was stupid of me to call you so late the other night.
No, it doesn't matter.
Hello, Leo.
Oh, what on earth are you doing here?
I'm the Dean's daughter, remember? Hello.
Hello, Sally Ashworth.
And this is Nicholas Elliot. I told you about him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm not sure. Something will turn up, though.
Know anything about music?
I used to, yes.
I run a record company. Totem. It's called Totem. Rock bands. Hey, was that your kid? The one with the great voice?
This is her streetwise jargon. She can sound perfectly normal if she wants to. Go away. Go on, go and show off to someone more impressionable. Nicholas, just take her away and see if she can be useful for once. Please.
Aren't you being a bit hard on her? She's awfully young.
She's awfully silly.
Do you think she's in love with you?
Well, she thinks she is. I'm trying to be as unlovable as possible.
But you make yourself so attractive if you're rude to her.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but if I was nice, God, just think what would happen.
Yeah. Not for long. She'd get bored. Mean and moody is so much sexier.
Really? Why did you ring the other night?
Loneliness. But I promise to be a trouble-free mother in future.
Come to a rehearsal. I mean it.
Oh, no. No, I wouldn't do that. Goodbye, and congratulations.
Thanks.
Alexander, I'd like you to hear Frank Ashworth for yourself.
If I must.
Mr. Ashworth, you know the headmaster, don't you?
There's nothing personal in this, you know that.
Well, the effect's the same, Mr. Ashworth, is personal or not.
By the way, I telephoned all 4 canons for their opinion of the proposal. They consider it to be out of the question.
Do they now?
Yes.
So that's the end of that, isn't it?
Is it?
It's a matter for the dean and chapter, you know. I can't interfere. I serve the diocese, not the cathedral.
It's the principle I've come to talk about, Bishop.
Ah, the principle.
The close scares them off. It's too elitist.
You think so?
Oh, no, sir.
But it's not elitist in the way that I think you mean. An elite is the pick, the flower of something. There is, in God's eyes, in humanity, no such thing.
Didn't come here to talk theology.
Were we?
Edging that way.
And you propose that this secular place become a meeting place for all, at the very heart of it.
Exactly.
I see. And if you achieve this, would you stop there? Or have you, even at the very back of your mind, any plans for the other buildings in the close?
Haven't given the idea any thought at all.
Well, you see, I'm in favour of your general idea, but I'm opposed to deviousness to achieve things. It simply compounds the problems. I mean, compulsory purchase, for instance. You can only win people lastingly to anything by love.
Does it seem fair to you that the headmaster and his wife should live in about a quarter of the house? When the people of the city could use the house as is their right. They feel the close is their own.
You presume too much, Mr. Ashworth. You've come here for my support. Well, you don't have it.
I see. The privileged will protect their own, then.
Privilege surely means freedom from burdens borne by others. The people of this city are so privileged, Mr. Ashworth. You carry some of the burdens for them. I try to carry others, and the headmaster carries more. Now, I support you wholly in your desire to make the close more approachable, but I will not be party to machinations which wear an altruistic mask to cover a heart of envy.
I am so proud of you.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very all right. What's Mr. Beckford like?
Oh, he's great. He can be very tough, very hard, and very funny. But he was nice today, wasn't he?
Yes. Yes, he was. Night-night.
Night, Mum.
Sleep well.
And why this organ? What makes it so special?
Well, it is unique. It's the only one of its kind in England. When it was removed from the south transept in 1701, it had already been there for 70 years. And we still have the original letter of appeal of 1618 to raise funds to build it. It's astounding.
That's very impressive. And how many of the pipes have you got to replace?
Oh, we don't have to replace any of them. They're all original.
Oh, goodness. You mean every single one dates from the 17th century?
Well, at least that. Yes, some of them are even
You
older.
look splendid. You kept your shoulders back.
Oh, thank you. Didn't Leo Beckford play brilliantly today? And to think that we nearly didn't appoint him.
What?
Well, because of his divorce.
Heavens, I've forgotten about that.
I remember asking him if he was a Christian, and you know what he said? That he was a kind of part-time, lopsided one. I didn't really know what he meant by that, but I rather liked it.
What did he say about the divorce?
Hmm? Oh, I can't remember. But you know what I think? A Christian marriage is a good marriage, even if it isn't necessarily the first one. What's that for?
Don't fish. Have
I couldn't sleep. Would you like some tea?
I'll make it. What are you doing?
Oh, just an idea.
To do with the children?
No.
Huffo, talk to me.
Well, it's a draft scheme for the new nave lighting. The present system is outdated and ineffective. The lighting should enhance the beauty and the mystery of the building.
Couldn't we have a rest from appeals for a while, my dear?
I doubt an appeal will be necessary. I think I know how to obtain funding.
Let me have a look. Perhaps I can make some suggestions.
I don't think I need trouble you with them, but they're only drafts. If you'll excuse me.
Huffo, what on earth is the matter?
I'll see you upstairs.
All right, let's have a look at Leighton's Magnificat from the Gloria. Your opening phrase is, "Glory." You've we've only got 2 bars intro, so let's have everybody absolutely ready. What planet are you on, Turner? Please feel free to join us. To the sound, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Count through this. Count all the way through this phrase. An ST on the quaver. And firm. Any danger of a crescendo? Yeah, that didn't hurt, did it? Deck. Can. Deck. Jump. Oh, fortissimo! That was pretty awful, even for a first try. What did you think, Mr. Chancellor?
It's very difficult.
Of course it is. But we mustn't let them get big-headed just because they were on the television last night. I was on the television too, and I'm just as modest as ever. Right, Ashworth and Chilworth, we'll have to find something special for you to sing at your presentation service. Have a word with Mr. Chancellor. The rest of you, push off. Ashworth?
Yes, sir?
You know, I meant it when I said that your mother was welcome to come to a choir practice.
I know, sir. And she does too. It's just she's not getting much time off at the moment.
What does she do?
She works at Eastman's bookshop in the corn market.
Perhaps I'd better ask her again. Come on. Hello, Mrs. Ashworth.
Mr. Beckford.
I don't know why I've never been in here before. Do you own it?
Oh, no. It belongs to Tom Easterman. I work here half days. I love it.
Is there a music section?
Mm-hmm. Small one. Here. Can I sell you some early printed Mozart? Or what just might be an autograph mass written by Donizetti's younger brother at the age of 12. But I doubt it. We sell unclassified Burgundy, too.
That's the,
You didn't really come here to buy music, did you?
Oh, dear. Does it show? Actually, I came about your call the other night.
Really?
Yes, you had a very good point. I've been thinking about it.
And what did I say?
I think we should discuss it. It's very important to Henry's future, in my view.
What is?
What you said.
What was that?
What time do you finish here?
Usually about 5:30.
So, how about I pick you up for a drink at 5:30?
I can't. I've got to go shopping and then pick up Henry.
Dinner?
Well, I've got Henry.
Tomorrow?
I don't think...
Thursday? Friday? Saturday?
All right. If I can find a babysitter, I'd love to.
See you at about 8 then.
Morning. Miss Cavendish.
Oh, good morning.
Mr. Cavendish. Rumour has it that you're looking for £90,000 for some new nave lighting.
Oh, it's a very preliminary estimate, very approximate.
Oh, my proposal about the headmaster's house is still on the table, you know.
We are not, I am happy to say, in a position that men of finance call demandeur. We shall raise the money through the Friends of the Cathedral and the relevant grants.
Oh, there's no hurry. You'll need the money someday.
Maybe. Good morning.
Good morning.
I found it this morning, looking for the new cabling run.
It was re-roofed in about 1242 with this magnificent stone vaulting. It's like the branches in a forest, you see? The pillars are like tree trunks, and it's as if we were standing in a great big forest of trees. And way up there, the Heavenly Orchestra. And there's one playing a violin, one a trumpet, a zither. You see?
So there are patches of damp we can see. That the old lighting should obscure all this from us is deeply distressing.
All that fungus streaming.
The problem seems to be along the edge of the south face of the choir roof.
Particularly towards the east.
Yeah. Well, how much is this going to cost? £250,000? 500,000?
Can't say until I've done a thorough survey and inspection. Could be £1 million. Maybe more.
I'll need a full report and detailed costing as soon as you can.
Now, a quick prayer before we leave won't do us any harm. Shh. Concentrate. Just let God look at you. Lord, we thank you for this magnificent old cathedral where generations of children have knelt before you. We thank you for music, which speaks from our hearts, souls, and minds in a way nothing else can, outside time, to your eternal praise. Amen.
I've done all the sums as best I can. Some items are approximate. I'm still waiting for a couple of quotes. There may be other things we haven't yet discovered. Although I think I've inspected all the obvious sites. Even so.
Taking all that into account.
£1,400,000.
There's no money. There's no money.
Will you get onto English Heritage immediately?
As soon as I get back to the office.
I'll have drawn up a more detailed report by the next chapter meeting.
It's a meeting of the greater chapter next week, isn't it? Is that wise? It'll get into the press.
I can't cancel it now.
Close your eyes while I decide whether I can bear to let you look.
I'm used to mess. I live with men.
Yeah, but this is real five-star mess.
Oh, yes. So it is.
If I'd known that I was going to have the impulse to ask you back, I wouldn't have left it like this.
Didn't you?
Didn't I what?
No, you might have the impulse to ask me back.
Of course I did. I'm as poor a liar as I am a housekeeper. I suppose it's a sort of test. If you can stand this, I might have a chance.
Of what?
Sally, don't flirt with me. I'm serious.
You can't be. We've barely met. We've just had dinner and...
I'm serious. I've got a bottle of wine somewhere.
I don't really want any more to drink.
Coffee?
That would be lovely.
It isn't lovely at all. It's instant. Yuck.
Oh, Leo. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm married to a man I never see, who's periodically unfaithful to me anyway. Maybe I'm just another bored housewife.
It isn't like you to talk like this.
You don't know what I'm like.
I do know that I can perceive in you a coolness and a gallantry I'm bowled over by. You're also wildly attractive.
So are you.
What about Alan?
Alan and I have nothing in common. Except Henry.
But what about...
No.
Have you had an affair with anyone?
Since I married Alan, no.
Well, you're about to have one now.
It isn't your decision.
We'll go at any pace you like. Can't you see I want to do what you want, as well as what I want?
You've been married, haven't you?
There she is.
What happened?
Well, I was desperate for her to marry me, until she did. Then it was quite hopeless. I never even liked her, really. All she wanted to do was to sing and be political. It only started because I was desperate.
And are you desperate now?
No. Just enormously happy. Alexander?
Please. Good evening, Canon Troy.
What are you doing?
Wasn't it obvious?
Well, that's the mother of one of your choristers. Henry Ashworth is a charge of both yours and mine. What are you thinking of?
Of her and of myself.
Leo!
Look, why are you here?
I rather wanted to talk.
Well, I'll talk all you like, but not about Sally Ashworth.
No, this can't go any further, Leo. You must give her up.
No.
How long have you known her?
A couple of days. You look as though you need a drink.
Do you think you love her?
Do you think I'm going to tell you something I haven't even told her? You haven't any prerogative on love, you know.
I don't want to quarrel with you, Leo. Thanks. Hugh Cavendish is in a terrible state. Some pretty extensive damage has been discovered in the choir roof. It'll cost a fortune to put right.
Thank God I'm out of close politics.
Well, we may all be dragged into this one.
Oh, it's always the same. Storms in teacups. Remember my appointment? You still haven't told me why you're here. Felicity.
Yes.
sorry about that, but I can't help. I can only hope fiercely that she'll come back to you.
I shall go and look for her if she doesn't. There's a world of difference between giving the person you love some room and leaving them to be lonely and afraid. That's what part of marriage is for.
And if marriage leaves you lonely and afraid?
Then you must signal for help.
As Sally Ashworth is now doing.
But you're not her husband.
Well, he won't listen.
And you will.
You love Felicity. Sally and Alan stopped loving each other. Judith and I stopped loving each other. We didn't mean to, but it happened. You're lucky that you still love Felicity the way that you do.
Perhaps the difference between us is that I believe in marriage.
Oh, for God's sake, that's bloody arrogant and insulting and untrue.
Don't be so cheap.
Yes. Yes, you'd better go. You're a great fellow, but I can't cope with you tonight.
It makes two of us.
He was horrified. Did he mention Henry?
Yes.
Oh. Leo.
Look, I don't have any children, but I spend a lot of time with them. You can't live your life for them. If things are right for you, there's a much better chance they'll be right for them.
I admire Henry as well as loving him, you know.
I admire him. And I love you.
You can't say that.
I can, and I do. Sleep well. I'll call you tomorrow.
The parapet mullions are seriously decayed, and whole sections will have to be removed without delay and the rest spliced. The worst wear is at the base of the mullions, where the soft stone has worn away to allow gallons of water to lie in this angle. We're going to have to strip the roof, reline it, re-lead it, and replace new sections of parapet.
How long will that take?
A year for the roof, longer for the stonework.
And how did this come about?
Partly because the angle of the old lighting obscured so much.
And all this had happened since the last annual inspection?
Yes. How much can be found from Dean and Chapter funds?
21,000 at most. I want it minuted that I warned the Dean he was draining what is in effect the contingency fund in order
It was a chapter decision.
On your recommendation. I didn't vote for it.
It is clear that some sacrifices will have to be made.
Does the Dean have a sacrifice of his own to propose?
I do have a scheme that I need to revolve a little further in my mind before it is fit for your consideration. When the chapter next meets, I hope to be able to lay before it my proposal for a solution.
The sale, for instance, of a house in the Close would raise at most 1/3 of what is urgently needed.
Is that a comment or a question?
Use the word sacrifice.
Well, gentlemen, that concludes the agenda. Shall we bow our heads in prayer for a moment? What a view. It's magnificent. I've never seen it from here.
Here, I may have a fine view of scaffolding the next year.
Maybe so. As usual, you're extremely well informed.
Oh, do have a seat.
You're very good health.
Cheers.
Ah, your grandson. He's doing well, it seems.
He's a good boy.
The reason I've come is in a way connected with Henry. I must ask that this meeting be kept entirely confidential between us. I'm sure you're agreeable to that.
Of course.
I rather want to know your opinion of the choir, in the light of your feelings about what you regard as the inaccessibility of the close.
I feel Henry had a leg up to get in. Chance other boys in the city don't get.
Well, there are bursaries and scholarships. Anyone can apply. If a boy is good enough, all his fees are paid.
No, many lads don't have parents who know how to help them, or the money to have them taught music in the first place.
But do you think the choir important?
Important.
Do we need a choir?
Well, cathedral would be dead without music, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wonderful organ.
Oh, the choir's part of the city's history, an essential part. Oh, the human voice.
If the dean and chapter could not afford to keep up the choir, would the council consider financing it as part of the city's history?
What?
It would give you much more democratic freedom in the choice of choristers. There could be links with all the city schools, an ethnic representation.
What does the choir cost?
About 120,000 a year.
So, the cathedral roof could be paid for that way.
What?
You could borrow the full cost of repairs and repay the bank at 120,000 a year for however long it takes.
My dear Mr. Ashworth, your financial grasp.
But you could sell us the headmaster's house and pay off a big chunk of the roof at once.
That might, in time, become part of the bargain.
Let me get this quite clear. You propose to disband the choir, saving 120,000 a year, and you'll need at least outline support from the council to help fight off your critics.
Oh, come, I didn't suggest.
And in return, you won't close the door on the headmaster's house.
Very well.
You're going to have quite a fight on your hands.
I know.
Don't promise anything.
But you will try.
I'll think about it.
Thank you. Devious old schemer.
Twisty old bugger.